What up, Lake Nation? It's your boy DTLF. I'm back from the dead, man. How you guys doing? Been a cool minute, man. Not sure is this if it's work. Oh, there you go. Okay, looks like we're live. So been a cool minute, guys, since I've been on. But as you guys know, man, a lot of distress in the world, man. I've just been so focused and the negative things that have gone on. With all the police brutality and stuff that I haven't even really been focused on the basketball news. However, we got some good news recently that at least we hopefully have something to look forward to through all this distress, guys. But how y'all feeling, man? I'm feeling great. What's up, big baby? What's up? What's up, cringy? Everybody's here, looks like. So just wanted to talk about what it looks like the NBA Board of Governors may soon approve. They're going to have one, it looks like, final meeting before they set the target date to resume play. Now, rumor has it that Adam Silver has a target date, which is July 31st. Now, it's a little later than we expected, but July 31st is looking like the return to play date that they're targeting, right? So before I proceed, guys, Black Lives Matter, man. We have to support the movement. Get out there. If you can go out there and protest, do it. Try to do it as peaceful as possible. However, I understand that, this is all very frustrating in these times, but we have to support one another. So, again, Black Lives Matter, guys, and RIP to Mr. George. So hopefully there's justice for him because it's not fair, man. This has gone on too long, and we got to speak up for our brothers and sisters. We got to make sure that our voice is heard, especially people like me who have a platform, but everybody can do their part through our social media, through actually getting out there protesting and all that great stuff. So I encourage you guys to absolutely get out there and support our brothers and sisters, man. We are all family, colorblind. That's how it should be. But unfortunately, reality is that there's still a lot of prejudice out there. So we got to make sure we do our part, guys, to get some justice for the deceased, especially those that were taken prematurely. So that's what we have to do. Moving back to basketball, some positive. Again, I've been so negative on everything, guys, because of what's going on. Obviously, the COVID-19, and now we had these police brutality recently to add to the collection of many. That's what we have to try to be positive and throughout all of this. I know it's nearly impossible, but here is the good news is that, again, July 31st, the target date. We have another target date, which is September 25th for the official, looks like, NBA lottery. So that'll be very interesting. Hey, Simply Marvelous, how you doing? Welcome to the live chat, and thanks for the donation, brother. I appreciate you. He said, let's go Lake Show MVP1. I think he said meant to see MVP1, but he said MMV1. So I'm going to go ahead and just stay right there. I appreciate you, Marvelous, always. What's up, Allison? What's up, everybody? But yes, okay, so we have two target dates, obviously, July 31st and September 25th for the draft lot. I think it's a draft lottery, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, those two target dates, as of right now, it looks like they're going to get approved this Thursday when they're going to have that meeting between the Board of Governors and the Players Association, and everybody's just going to get together and do their thing. Thanks, baby. I appreciate you. By the way, shout out to Big Baby. He's doing big things. Go ahead and check out his new channel. Plug yourself, brother. Plug yourself in my channel anytime, man. I do not mind. Matter of fact, I encourage it. Yes, and also I wanted to talk about that play-in tournament possibilities. Now, obviously, the NBA is in favor of keeping the West and East. There was talks earlier this week of maybe mixing, the conferences and just having 1 through 16. However, 75% of the NBA owners are not in favor of that. They want to keep West versus West and East versus East. Presumably, if we do take that route and just mix everything up, I think it would be super interesting, guys. I think, if we have a first-round matchup of, let's say, the Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets, imagine Kyrie Irving going up against LeBron James in a 7-game series. Yes, sign me up for that. And then we will have a possibility of, even though I don't think the Clippers make it to the finals, but what everybody wants to see is Clippers-Lakers finals. We could have that possibility. At least for this year, it'll make it interesting. But there's, many scenarios being laid out. Nothing's official. I think we're going to hear a little bit more after Thursday. I think after Thursday, we will know just a little bit more. And so, we can officially talk about it then. He said, Dan, if it ain't fixed, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm sorry. By the way, shout out to my man, for the poster. I mean, you see it sitting in my living room looking pretty back there. So, yeah, that's exactly where it goes. You can't see it right now. It's kind of dark back there, but during the daytime, maybe when I do another video, you guys will be able to see it a little better. But again, the NBA discussing multiple scenarios. One is obviously those 16 teams that are already in playoff contention go straight to the playoffs when the season returns. That's obviously a very possible scenario right there. Then they have the play-in tournament, meaning 20 teams return to play. The final 4 seeds that are trying to make it in. Obviously you have 8 and 8, so that's 16. So you'll have 4 seeds playing for the final positions to position themselves. Maybe they'll have a mini tournament. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's also a possibility. And then obviously there's the final option, which is the least popular. I heard a lot of people aren't voting for this scenario, so don't expect it. And that would be to finish part of the regular season with all 30 teams returning. From what I'm hearing, they're more in favor of like 22 to 24 teams returning to play and playing for those final 4 spots that they're trying to add, right? So they're trying to make it a 20-team tournament. I think that's very interesting. I would like to see that scenario play out. But I also like the scenario. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Just for this year, obviously, because of COVID-19, I would love to see, the East and the West get all mixed up like a big tournament and just, have potentially, the Bucks, Lakers, or Clippers, Lakers, or whatever final. But maybe we could face some Eastern Conference teams along the way. That would be our reward for finishing on one of the top 2 seeds in the NBA. So, yes, I like that a lot. He said, doesn't the commissioner get the final say regarding of how the owners vote? I believe the commissioner does, but he's a fair commissioner, and he's trying to take everybody's thoughts into consideration. Now, if they can't come to an agreement, I do believe that the commissioner will make the final decision. I believe it wholeheartedly, and I trust him. I know he's going to make the right decision. So he said, I predict LeBron will finish 6-6 for his career. Well, that's huge. That means he's going to win the next 3 finals. That'll be amazing. I hope so, man. I hope your prediction comes through, especially since he's in a Laker jersey. So that would be awesome for sure. Now, if you guys have any questions on these scenarios, do you guys like the play-in scenario with the extra 4 teams, or you guys would like to stick to traditional? Hit me up in the comment section. Now, I really want to know how you guys are feeling, man. Basketball still feels like 2 months away, but hopefully it goes by sooner rather than later. The good news is if they do vote to officially come back July 31st, we're going to have plenty of clips to talk about, plenty of news, a training camp and stuff like that to touch on. Basketball wise, we can start wrapping our head. This channel can come back full force. I can come back with the daily updates once we start getting those. Obviously, I never want to clickbait my Laker fam, so that's why I haven't been making videos as often. You guys pretty much know what I know, but if I ever hear anything that is worth talking about, I come straight to you guys with the source. He said they trying to get Zion in the playoffs. Hey, that would be really exciting to watch. I would not mind watching a Lakers Pelican series. Imagine Anthony Davis going up against his former team, much to the point of what Big Baby was talking about earlier in his channel. By the way, go check that out. I was there. I was watching them talk, and they bring up a good point. It would be very interesting to see the Lakers maybe go up against the Pelicans or a young up-and-coming team. We want to see those mismatches. Why? Because mismatches create surprises sometimes. Now, I'm not saying I want to see my Lakers get surprised. Obviously not. But I wouldn't be shocked if a game or 2 went down to the wire in that series and just made it a really good, fun, wholehearted, playoff series. And I think that's where the Lakers really would strive in any playoff series, because we have the experience on our side and we got champions over here. So he said, I just want to see some basketball already. I already know, brother. I already know, man. Me too. Trust me. He said, are you worried about trust if the Lakers don't play and the other hungry teams fighting for the playoff spot do? They'll be more prepared. Nah, man, I'm never worried about the Lakers, man. We ready, bro. Lakers are ready. I think they're coming in. I think they're going to come in with the right mindset. I think LeBron's been getting guys to work out behind the scenes from what I'm hearing. I think the Lakers are mentally prepared. I think we're hungrier. And I think, obviously, the older guys, this layoff could have helped their body to heal. Obviously, there's going to be some rust there. There's going to be rust, naturally. But within a couple of games, I think you'll knock it off. I think that's what the first round is for. He said it is an extra 6 teams. They added the Suns and the Wizards. Teams that were within 6 games of the 8th playoff spot. It's probably going to be 22 teams. You know what, Kevin King? The more the merrier. I'd be very excited. My only question is, how does this impact the lottery odds? That's the only thing, right? Obviously, if they made the playoffs, they shouldn't be a lottery team. They shouldn't have the same odds and stuff like that. So I don't know. He said, thoughts on Damian Lillard's comments? I love Dame time, man. I'm a big Damian Lillard fan. He's a real brother, man, and he always keeps it 100. Can nobody mess with him, man? They calling him spoiled for not wanting to play. If he's out of the playoffs, can you blame him? Like, what do you play for if you're out of the playoffs already? Especially with the pandemic, he probably wants to keep his family safe. So there's no point in coming back if you're playing for nothing. However, with this new play-in tournament situation, then Damian Lillard will have a chance, and I'm sure Dame time is going to show up. So I'm a big fan. I wish he was a Laker. That's one player that I really wish the Lakers had because he's clutch. He has a little bit of Mamba mentality in him. He's a killer. He just never had the right team built around him, in my opinion. A lot of people, they praise Steph Curry over Lillard, but I say if you swap those players, maybe the Cavs don't have that championship in 2016. Just saying. I know it's a controversial statement, but I'm just saying the shots Curry wasn't hitting when he just choked up in the finals, and then Kyrie hit those instead. I think Damian Lillard would have hit some of those shots, and we would be talking a different tone right now. I'm talking LeBron 2-7 in the finals. Not saying that's what I wanted, but I'm just saying like some players really have that it factor. They just aren't blessed with the team, and I think Damian Lillard is that guy. He said, "I'm ready. Can't wait for the NBA to come back soon. Let's go, baby. I'm ready too. Trust me, man. Trust me when I say it's long overdue. NBA fans are starving. You can see NBA Twitter is non-existent right now for the most part. It's just a repetition of the same things over and over, the same kind of news. But when the season comes back, it gets really interesting, especially with your boy right there. I got to speak my mind on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter if you guys already don't. For most of you, I'll see you guys on the other side." He said, "Have you seen Rondo? Rondo has gained some muscle." I know Rondo's getting ready for the playoffs. That's why I've been vouching for him. Every time he gets torn apart from having bad games, I say, hey, veteran leadership and experience, and he's a champion, so he has championship experience. Those things to me matter more than just having a couple bad games during the regular season. Why? Because I know when the game is on the line, I know you're going to be able to count on Rondo for some big plays. Maybe it could be a steal. Maybe it could be an assist, a layup, or a clutch shot like the one he hit in Boston was it a year ago when he went back to Boston. I'm telling you, man, this guy has championship DNA. You never question the heart of a champion. And as much as I hated Rondo in Boston, after he left, I've always respected him. So, Rondo is a competitor. He has a polarizing personality, meaning some people hate him, some people like him. But at the end of the day, he's going to show up. I believe in Rondo. I think he can be an X factor any given night, like maybe one game or two out of every series. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. He said, "I don't want the Grizzlies to get hosted." Oh, he said, "I don't want the Grizzlies to get hosed, though. I think no love for the Grizzlies because how they handled Iggy and they won Zion in the playoffs." Man, I'm just excited. Any brand of playoff basketball, I'm going to be excited for. I don't care who makes it, who doesn't. Obviously, our Lakers are there, so I'm happy about that. Everybody else, man, I'm just curious to see what the matchups will look like. What the decisions are going to look like. And as soon as we get some news, I'm going to come on live because maybe they go straight to the playoffs and we'll know our playoff matchup is going to be Memphis right away. Or maybe we're going to play that mixed tournament where it's East versus West and it doesn't matter like throughout the playoffs. And that'll be interesting because we may face Brooklyn. Can you imagine a first round playoffs of the Brooklyn Nets? Let's say that, I doubt it, but let's say KD comes back. And now they have Kyrie and KD. Obviously, KD's not 100%, but he still would be some sort of a problem. And they got plenty of good role players like Karis LeVert. They got that big center, man. They have some decent players there that at least can put up a fight. That would be a very interesting playoff series, especially with the whole LeBron versus Kyrie Irving dynamic. Can you just picture that? I think it would be history for the NBA. Obviously, they've never done anything like this. So why not? And I think if any commissioner is capable of pulling the trigger and maybe coming out and changing up things a little bit, it could be Adam Silver. And I'm all for it, man. I'm open-minded. I'm one of those guys that is very curious and change, and I want to see how things are going to go. Also, how will they address the no crowd situation and obviously the playoff atmosphere? I do believe they're going to have fake noise like the soccer fields. They have fake fan noise. But see, what I would do, and this is another idea I have right here, is I would light up the stands like different colors. Like, let's say the Lakers are playing Brooklyn in the first round. If the Lakers score, I think you have the fake crowd noise and you have a bunch of like purple and gold lights going off like in the arena, like if the fans were sitting there, but just purple and gold lights looking like a rave or something crazy like that. And I also think they should black out everything else where the fans sit. So obviously it's not that noticeable that there's no fans in the stands. And then you just light up the arena very similar to how Staples Center does it. That way, when those lights come into effect, they really pop. Stuff like that, man. Get at me, Adam Silver. I got plenty of ideas, man, for the playoffs to make it interesting for our viewers as well. I don't know. I just think it will be very interesting to see how they handle this whole playoff situation with no fans. So that's never happened. One of the best things about the playoffs is how loud the crowd gets. So, you know, if we can throw in ideas into the hat, maybe Adam Silver's watching my video. I doubt it, but you just never know. Maybe some NBA player could pass it along, whatever. That would be great. He said, Dan, if you could have one role player to be on the Lakers, who would it be? I say D Rose. D Rose is very solid. You can go with Spencer Dinwiddie. You got options, but the NBA is filled with good role players. That's why when you have a chance to pull a trigger for a superstar like Anthony Davis, you do it because role players can always be replenished throughout the course of the NBA season and off season and draft and all this good stuff. So yes, I believe there's plenty of. I like Derrick Rose. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I actually like Jamal Crawford, even though I don't think he fits in this particular team that we have right now. But you know, there's options. DeMarcus Cousins, I'd love to bring him back. I mean, there's options. He said, "Did you hear Boogie is going to probably be on the sideline in the NBA and looking into letting teams have extra players on the bench in case some players get ill or hurt? We still could get DeMarcus Cousins." Now, I don't know how the NBA rules work on that. When you cut a player, I don't know if there's like a time period you got to wait or whatever. He has to clear waivers. But I would love to have DeMarcus. You guys remember when I made my mix, my early Laker hype mix? Go ahead and check that out on YouTube if you already have it. Earlier in the season, I had DeMarcus Cousins in my rap lyrics, man. I'm excited. I was excited, and I was bummed out we had to let him go. I would have preferred to let go of somebody else. But I wish him the best, and I hope the Lakers do give him a chance if we have that opportunity. That would be amazing. Good question, by the way, Kevin. Always on point. My guy. He said our last game was versus Brooklyn. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think it would be a very good playoff series. That was a very competitive game. Obviously, we didn't show up. We didn't play our A game. If not, we would have got to 50 wins right there. But all in all, you know, interesting. He said, good idea, home court like. Yes, I'm telling you guys, man, they can do so much stuff with and I think that's why it's taking time to reinstate the NBA, not just for safety, but they're planning how they're going to arrange the arena and the noise and all this stuff. So they got to make sure they get everything good because the NBA brand has to continue with a strong playoff performance and entertainment-wise. We're always going to be entertained. Basketball is my favorite sport. So he said, been so long, I totally forgot about your channel, Dan. Oh, man, how can you forget about my channel, bro? I'm still here, man. Don't forget. Make sure you hit that notification bell, guys. That way you guys are here. You know, Noti gang in the house as soon as my videos drop, especially my track, man. Not a lot of you guys checked out my track, so I'm a little hurt about that. But the ones that did, I do appreciate it. And if you already haven't, you got a chance, please check out my tracks because they help get more plays and they help push out the algorithm in YouTube and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. And don't forget to drop that like. He said, Dan the GOAT, can't forget. Oh, man. Thank you, Kevin. Hey, it's all good, man. I know there's so many problems on people's plates, so I don't take it personal. Hey, LBJ, what's up, Brett? What's up? How you doing? Much love. He said, will it be summer league type of schedule with a bunch of games played each day? Well, we don't know that yet, Cypher. So we're going to know more details. And as we do know more details, I will continue to make more videos. Obviously, I finally got some new information here to pass along. That's why it took me so long to make this video. But again, I will never clickbait you guys. I won't make random repeated videos because I want to make sure that it's stuff you guys actually want to hear about and not just things you already know. Obviously, everybody has Twitter, ESPN, so you guys know the basics. What I try to hit you with is my inside knowledge on things you may not have heard or maybe things you haven't heard my opinion on, stuff like that. So he said a lot of states would probably allow some fans in stadiums by August. We'll see. And if they do allow fans, it's going to be trickled. But again, there should be plans in place just in case fans cannot attend. We have to make sure we prepare for everything. We cannot have a silent playoffs. The atmosphere just wouldn't be that great. So, you know, we got to make sure that we prepare properly. That way we can, take over the world again. NBA is the greatest league in the world, no matter what anybody says. I know it's not the most popular by the numbers, but I think it's trending in that direction. I know obviously soccer is the most popular. People love football here in America, baseball and all that. But to me, ain't nothing like basketball, man. Just listening to that leather hit the hardwood floor and, the squeaky sound of the sneakers. I miss that. Even playing out there in the gym in real life, I miss it, man. There's something so addicting about it. Watching the ball swish right through the net, that little splash. There's nothing like it, guys. There's no feeling in the world. If you're a hooper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He said he said, great to see you, Dan. You're a real one. # legend. Thanks, James. I appreciate it, brother. I'm humbled. You guys are the real ones. So thank you for showing up in numbers today. He said, hey, bro, NBA will be back July 41. Yeah, we touched on that a little earlier. 31st. Nothing's official yet, but that's the target date. So the fact that was reported today is great. It just lets us know that more likely than not, we're coming back sooner rather than later. I had heard earlier reports about the NBA coming back mid-July, but I guess they have to get everything in order, all the contracts, everything, with the Disney World and Orlando and all that. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens because even though they're going to have them like in a bubble location where they, I guess, can't get out or in, I've been hearing that, Disney World is planning to open up soon, maybe like by next month. So how would that work? Are they going to like block off an area for only NBA players? I would have much preferred for Disney World to stay shut till the playoffs finished and then reopen up Disney World. But I guess they got to make their money. You can't really, hate on that. Kevin said, all those people protesting, it's sad. We still have issues in the country. I was in California National Guard during Rodney King and served in the service. It touches me. Yeah, man. You know what? At this point, guys, it's one of those things where I feel like going out there to protest. I do. If I didn't work this weekend, I probably would have been out there already. But it's one of those things where enough is enough. We got to fight for our right, period. And, minorities, especially Black people, have been victims to police brutality for years. And they have protested peacefully. And unfortunately, their voice and our voice hasn't been heard. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not condoning violence. However, we have to be heard one way or another. That's all I got to say, right? Obviously. And, obviously not all cops are bad and all that. We get that. But we do hate the ones that are corrupt, straight up. We hate them. There's no room in this world for prejudice, injustice, racism. And so we have to rise as one people, Black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian, every nation, has to rise as one in unity, because that's the only way to defeat evil. Together we stand, divided we fall. We have to rise and we have to support one another in these situations, because right now it's Black Lives Matter. The day of tomorrow could be a different thing we're chanting. But at the end of the day, we got to eliminate one problem at a time. And that's what we have to do. But it's all for peace, man. We don't spread violence just for violence. We're going to be heard one way or another. But it's not just for the sake of, breaking and looting. No. That stuff is coming because of anger. Because, hey, if your laws aren't taking care of me and my people and our people and everybody equally, then why should we abide by your laws? That's just the way that I see it personally, from my perspective. It's like, okay, looting is bad, but President Trump calls people thugs when, there's been plenty of other sort of protests that have been violent, that haven't been with minorities involved, and he calls those good people. So you see the injustices, and you just, man, we have to get justice for George Floyd and everybody else that has come before him. Everybody else. But again, we've got to try to stay positive a little bit, man. Hopefully sports can come back soon. All of them, not just soccer and UFC, but basketball, obviously football, baseball, and we get a little more positive in unity, because one thing that sports does do is it erases all prejudice. It erases all racism. It completely erases the topic, and it unifies us as a one. And that's the beauty of sports. Sports is the one place where we don't talk racism. Sports is the one place where we don't have to deal with those type of problems. So we get out of our mindset, and we get to escape reality for a little bit. And that's why sports are very essential, man. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for sports to come back. Of course, it's my pleasure, Ricky. Again, I've been telling my brothers and sisters out there on Twitter, hey, some of my best friends, both genders are African-American. And of course, I'm going to fight for you guys, because you guys will do the same for me. And you guys have done the same for me. even at work, man. When there's injustices, we speak up for each other. That's just the way it works. So, oh, man, it's my pleasure. You don't have to thank me, brother. It's my um, it's my birth-given right to fight for justice. It's something my mom always instilled in us in a young age. So it's a pleasure, honestly, to stand next to you guys and go out there and march. And even when I can't protest there on the streets, I protest here from home, from social media. We use all our platforms, to attack injustices all around the world. And here's the funny part. We were just talking about COVID-19 and how crucial that was, and how social distancing and all of that. Well, that went out the door because of what happened here recently, and nobody's even talking about that today. That's the sad part. If it's really as severe as the media outlets report it, then there's going to be a lot of casualties because of this. But if it's not that severe, then it's just going to get glazed over. I feel like we're in stage 3 now of the lockdown. Like we're just coming out of it, and here comes something else to ruin our mood, right? Something else. So I want everybody to rise up together, man. Every nation, every color, every culture, and just fight the power. I hate to sound corny and obviously repetitive here, but that's what we got to do, because power corrupts, unfortunately, and there's a lot of powerful people in this world that use their power to portray racism, to justify that kind of stuff, like our president, right? To justify those kind of things, and it's just not right. So that's all I got to say about that. He said, Mike, no excuse for killing innocent black people for no reason other than race. Absolutely, no excuse. And I get it. No excuses for looting. It's not about excuses at this point. It's just this is a retaliation. That's all it is, man. You poke the bear long enough, it will attack you, man. That's just the way it works. And if you don't like it, then stand with us and fight the power, because that's the only way that we're going to calm down. That's the only way that as a society we're going to get over this, is that we need justice. We need not just, somebody mentioned it, man. Somebody, a young black woman mentioned it, a very powerful speech. She said, we're not looking just for justice in this case. We're looking for justice in every state, and we're looking for justice in every other case, that all those officers need to be arrested, and they need to be brought to justice, for the crimes they've committed. Think about this. This officer that kneeled on this gentleman's head and unfortunately ended his life, God rest his soul. This gentleman that kneeled on his head had 18 offenses, and only 2 were reprimanded. I'm talking about the police officer. Only 2 of the times they had reprimanded him. So that shows you just how unjust the world we live in is, and we need a fight to change that, because it's not just going to change on its own. Unfortunately, everybody has sat back and allowed for justice to take its course, or there hasn't been any justice. So again, but we want to stay on the positive note, man. Get back to basketball. Follow me on Twitter if you guys want to continue to talk politics. I'm all for it, man. I'm definitely upset at what has transpired here. It's unfortunate, man. That poor man was pleading for his life. But again, back to basketball. Hopefully we have something positive come out soon. Now we are going to hear more about it after Thursday, this upcoming Thursday. So I will be right here reporting to you guys if anything breaks officially, and we have an official date, and we have official training camp opening dates, and we have all this good stuff that, obviously we're all salivating for. I can't wait to actually come on here and talk some positive stuff. So, I know we're all hungry for it. You guys have been very patient, so I commend you guys. I myself have been just diving into my music and diving into other things, spending time with my friends, family, and stuff like that, just to get my mind off of the negatives, right? The virus and the racism and all that. Get my mind off of all that stuff. He said, have you been balling, Dan? I have not, man. My local park had removed the rims. They recently just put them back. So I'm going to start going, not just to the park, but once the gym opens up, I'm going to start going there. And yes, definitely. I can't wait to go back to hoop, man. All my boys have been telling me they want to join all kinds of tournaments and rec leagues and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get back out there. He said, July 31st looks like the date. Yes, hopefully it is, man. He said, you're right. Down sports is so unifying, and we really need it. Yes, sports will really bring us together in these harsh times. But even without sports, we have to stay together, man. We have to stand up for each other. But yeah, hopefully July 1st we hear something about it. September 25th. Now that's an interesting date. September 25th for the draft or draft lottery. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. Look it up just to make sure. That means that next season is going to be pushed back. Now, I had also heard a scenario where they push back next season, right? But then they shorten next season. That way, the season after that, we start back around October. How would you guys feel about that? Now, I'm not too much in favor of that. I'd rather they move the date and start the next year and the future seasons December 25th, and it goes into summer. But how do you guys feel about that? Maybe you guys like that idea better. I don't know. He said the media and the government are the only ones continuing to divide this nation. And that's why we have to be united. That's why it makes me very proud and very happy, man, when I look out there and I see my brothers of all nations and colors, black, white, brown, all colors, just out there, throwing their fists up in the air, giving a moment of silence and just marching together. That makes me very happy, man, because it shows that there's a lot of good in this world and there's a lot of love for black people, for Hispanics, for white people, for everybody, to spread around as long as there's no racism, right? We should hate what's evil and we should love what's pure. And that's what is transpiring. Obviously, the hate is not towards any race. It's towards injustice. It's towards, prejudice. That's what the hate is for. He said, what do you think about the NBA format will be? If I had to predict, based on what I'm hearing, they're going to have a play-in tournament. I think they're going to seed 1 through 8 the same way it is. I think we're going to end up playing, who was it? Not the Utah Jazz, the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, just like we currently look in the standings. And everything's going to remain the same, West versus East. And I think the final 4 or 6 teams or however are going to have a mini little play-in tournament. And somehow they're going to find a way to, I guess, mix that in. I don't know how it will work. But with the regular playoffs, I don't know, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how that transpires in the next upcoming days. So, what do you think? He said, Dan, that is why I'm glad you have a platform and not scared to speak your mind. Absolutely, Kevin. It is our responsibility, man. Even you guys in the comment section, it's your responsibility to spread love and spread unity and support for our, black brothers and sisters. That's what we got to do. We got to support them, man. Well, obviously, I'm not black, so I will never know what they're going through exactly. But I am Hispanic, and I have gone through many situations that are similar, right? So we have to try to walk together, even if you're white, even if any other nationality that has never really been through anything like that. You got to hate what's wrong, and I definitely hate what happened, man. It hurt my heart and my soul to see that video of this poor black man that was being murdered live, asking for help. And what I don't understand is how the cameraman didn't put down the camera and attack the police officer. I would have did that. I would have knocked him off his boots, and maybe at least I would have gave my man some breathing time. And but that's just me. I'm from Compton, so I don't think I react, right? So everybody's different, though. I can't really critique the person with the cell phone camera, even though I feel like I would have acted different in that situation. He said, Dan, where you get that Shaq cutout, Dan? That was from 2K18, man. I went to the release night at GameStop, and they just gave it to me because obviously, they follow me on the channel and all that. So yeah, they hooked it up, and that's cool. That's always cool, man. But yeah, hopefully we get some basketball news here coming first. I'll take a couple more comments before I get off, but I appreciate you guys for joining me. It's hard times right now, and I know a lot of you guys' attention isn't on basketball, and I respect it. That's why we only have like 62 people in the chat. Normally, this room is filled up during the regular season. We've had even up to 1,200 people in here live at one time, and it becomes really hard to read all the comments. And that's why sometimes I can only read the people who have donated because they're obviously their font is bigger and it just stands out more. So he said, we all hate dirty cops, got to weed them out. I agree, Mike. I feel like it's time to clean house. Let's fire them all and then rehire the ones we feel that are qualified. And then the ones that aren't qualified, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You got to find a new career. If you had anger problems, if you had one too many situations where you committed stupid crimes and there was no repercussions, we're going to look through your file and we're going to make sure that you're out of there. That's what I would do. He said, who's the best draft pick in your opinion is best for the Lakers? Respect you, brother. You know what? That's something I haven't really looked into because obviously we didn't have a March Madness tournament. That's really where I get to. I'm not a scout, but that's why I feel like I can really dissect players because you see where their mindset is and how clutch they are and their play style and how they perform under pressure, which kind of sometimes more times than not translates over to the NBA. But yeah, since there was no March Madness tournament, I really didn't watch too much college hoops. And we have a very late pick. I'm not sure if we even have a first one. We might have a second rounder this year. But yep. He said, yeah, Dan, but if you pushed the cops, it would have been a mandatory sentence. Exactly. It's never fair. He said, it would have been hard, Dan. So if you rushed the officer, the cop was scared, they might have shot and killed him. Nah, man. Honestly, like, I see what you're saying, but he didn't have his weapon drawn. He had his knee down, and I think he was on the radio. I'm not exactly sure. I don't like to watch that video. It truly hurts my soul. But I'm just saying, man, maybe I would have snuck up from behind and just let the man breathe, bro. Like, there's too many people there watching for there not to be nothing done. I get it. The man that has the gun has the power. But sometimes, man, you gotta, you know, like Tupac said, man, I got love for my brothers, you know. Would you take a bullet for one of them? I mean, that's all you. Sometimes you got to think about it, but sometimes you just can't think. You just got to act, you know. He said, I think the Lakers might trade their pick, though. I don't think so. We're trying to replenish and get some young talent on a cheap salary. So I actually think they might trade up and get another pick if possible because the Lakers have done an exceptional job of drafting. Look, Talon Horton-Tucker, we haven't really seen what he could do, but we do see potential. What he's done in the G League has been nothing short of spectacular. He shows the ability to play good defense. He shows the ability to handle the rock, place a point forward maybe here and there. Maybe not. It might or might not translate to the actual NBA, but at the same time, like, he looks really good in the G League. So the Lakers have done an exceptional job of drafting and getting gems and steals late in the draft. And I think they'll continue to do that. He said, I understand, though. I would have did the same thing, Dan. Yeah, man, it's tough, bro. I don't know. I can't stand there and witness injustice and not do nothing about it. That's not my MO. I don't know. Then how did the Lakers lose to the Mavs in 2011? In 2011, we lost to the championship Mavs because it was their time, and they obviously proved it by beating the Miami Heat. But that is a good question. Look, man, injuries were a big part of that season. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bynum was hurt, or I'm not sure. Was it Palace or Bynum? I don't know. There was a lot of injuries that year for sure. So, yes, it was tough to lose to the Mavericks. However, I'm glad that they won the championship because nobody wanted to see the Heat win the championship that year at all. Hey, Dan, do you think we should go after Ja Morant? I would really like him as our point guard. Realistically, Patchy, we won't be able to go after Ja Morant till his rookie contract comes up, and that's about, most of the time they opt in after the rookie contract and they get like 3 more years. So it might take up to 7 years before we can realistically pursue him, and who knows if at that time we'll have cap space or not. So that's not right now. That's not really relevant. I'm more looking at Giannis, believe it or not, because if LeBron opts out that year just to make space for Giannis, if he recruits him, and Giannis wants to be part of a dynasty, a future dynasty, even after LeBron retires, you can have AD and Giannis. The whole league would be shaking in their boots. So that's something to look at closer than Ja Morant, realistically. I know a lot of people don't believe we can get Giannis. And I'm not saying overlook the squad we have this year or next year, but I'm just saying that is a scenario that I could see play out. If Giannis was smart and wanted to play for a true franchise, that's going to help him elevate his already legendary status even higher, help him sell more jerseys, shoes, help him become a household name, not just in the NBA, but around the world. LA is the place. Dan, how do we lose to Detroit in 2004? Oh, man, you're making me really relive horrible memories. Kobe was injured that series, but I'm not making excuses, man. Honestly, we threw together a team of Hall of Famers, and Gary Payton was injured that year. Karl Malone, I think, got injured late in the playoffs. Kobe Bryant, obviously. And the chemistry wasn't there because Kobe and Shaq already weren't seeing eye to eye. That was like a perfect storm combined with, let's not take credit away from Detroit, who I hate that team, by the way. But you got to respect, they were beasts, man. They had Ben Wallace. They actually were a team with no ego. They were gelling at the perfect time. They had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, and a load of good role players like Antonio McDyess that just, they came together and feasted on an injured Laker team that had low chemistry. So that's the real reason why the Lakers lost to Detroit. But Why did we win versus Orlando, man? Let's relive the good memories, man. We're trying to be positive, because Kobe was amazing. Gasol elevated his game. Bynum was coming to fruition. Lamar Odom was a beast. Sasha was clutch and played great defense. The list goes on. And then that Celtic series was amazing, man. The Meta World Peace was really an X factor there. So I love it, man. I love what the Lakers have done, and I try not to think about the losses. I actually cried when we lost versus the Detroit Pistons. True story. I was just a kid. I think I was still in elementary at the time. And I cried, man. I cried my eyes out, and I was really sad and depressed. And my teacher was a Detroit Piston fan, or a bandwagon fan, because there's really no Detroit Piston fans at the time in Cali, no real ones at least, unless you were from Detroit, right? So he was rubbing it in the next day at school, and it was just tough, man. It was tough. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you lose some, you win some. You live to fight another day. Still the greatest franchise in the world, and I love it. Anyways, guys, on that note, I'm going to sign off, man. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. I will be back very soon with you guys, hopefully sooner rather than later. If we hear anything on Thursday, I'm here for you guys. So keep it locked right here. Remember, don't forget to turn on the post notification bells for all my upcoming content, man. I have a lot of content coming up, not just for this channel, but again, I'm working on a second channel that's going to be music related, gaming related, all kinds of sports talk, movies, food reviews, all kinds of stuff, just to connect with you guys, man, because I got nothing but love for the nation, man, for the people. So thank you guys again for the support, for the love. Keep fighting, man. Black Lives Matter, don't forget, and make sure that you guys do your part, man. Social media, anything. So anything helps, guys. Much love. Take care. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.